And welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. Now, did you know that at the first modern Olympics, the winners got silver medals? So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys Sports Podcast. You guys may know us from our main channel, Nasboys Podcast, but we started a second channel. So, for those of you who don't know us, my name is Mike, aka Mike Bobfan 101 on Instagram, with my good friends and co-hosts, Christian, aka C Will on YouTube,
What's up?
and Cam, aka I Spy Cam on Instagram.
Audio.
So, anyways, guys, we are going to get started with tonight's episode. Um, I thought that it would be a good idea if we introduce ourselves as more of a stick and ball background, because, well, like I said, some of you may know us from NASCAR, but we really like stick and ball sports, so we're going to talk about that. So, I'll go first. Like I said, my name is Mike. Um, I really like to watch basketball and football. Those are my two favorite stick and ball sports, but I'll also watch a little bit of baseball and hockey here and there. My favorite sports are in basketball, the Washington Wizards and the Maryland Terrapins. In football, the Washington football team, or as some of you like to call them still, the Redskins, and the Maryland Terrapins once again. In baseball, I like the Washington Nationals, and in hockey, I like the Pittsburgh Penguins.
For me, man, there's a lot I could go into about some of my favorite teams, but just to make things short, other than most sports, huge basketball fan. I played basketball even in high school. So basketball is my other favorite sport, but I also like baseball. I like hockey. I like soccer. I like football. I like a lot of sports, even volleyball and tennis. But there's some sports that I don't know a whole lot about, but there's also some sports that I really enjoy that some people don't. Some of my favorite teams include the Braves, Dodgers, Cardinals for baseball. In basketball, we got the Hornets, we got the Raptors, the 76ers, you know what I'm saying? Just name a few. And in college sports, I like North Carolina since I live in North Carolina. I like South Carolina, Southern Cal, Oregon. I could just go on and on. And if y'all want to know more about some other favorite teams, just let us know in the comments. And Cam?
I have a lot just like Savage, I'm really open to anything. If it's entertaining, I'll watch it. But I'll go through the big sports like Mike did. For football, I am a Minnesota Vikings fan. And for college football, I am an Oregon Ducks fan. For baseball, since it's like I'm a hometown native, so I got to go with the Cincinnati Reds. And then for basketball, I'm more of like a Giannis fan, so I don't really have a team technically. It's more like I follow where Giannis goes, and because of that, that's the Bucks. And then for college basketball, I'd have to go with Oregon, of course. And for hockey, I'm a big fan of the Red Wings.
All right. And we have one more guy, but I think he'll come on more for when football starts, but he should be on for the second episode. Spencer. So here is his pre recorded introduction right here.
Hey guys, it's Spencer. Sorry that I couldn't be on the podcast today, but I'll be the football guy on here, just to let you all know, since that's the only sport I'm really into. But I'll still, like follow baseball, basketball, and hockey occasionally, just check up on the scores and all that. But anyways, let's get into the teams I like. For football, it would definitely be the Vikings. For baseball, the Twins. For hockey, the Wild. And for basketball, the Timberwolves. As you can see, all Minnesota teams. I'm from Minnesota, even though I just said y'all like 15 seconds ago, but that's not important. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I'm really excited to start filming it, and Christian, Mike, and Cam are all really good friends of mine. And I'm really excited to do this. I hope to deliver you guys some awesome football news, and I'll see you guys in episode 2.
So now let's officially get started into our first topic of the podcast, the MLB pitchers sticky stuff scandal. So Cam, since you like baseball a lot, why don't you tell us a little more about that?
Okay, so now if you guys don't know, the way these pitchers use this stuff, right? In old times, they used it for better grip, right? Well, now they're using stuff that will actually make their spin rate faster. If you don't know, by using their spin rate, it makes the ball harder to hit. And so now they got, I mean, they use, like, I guess most common stuff's like rosin and sunscreen or pine tar. But now they've actually moved off into like worse things where it's actually like a mix. So because of that, it's been a big deal. And now the MLB has made a new rule, which is if you get caught, you get a 10-game suspension. And that's like, that's not like consecutive games. No, it's like every game for that pitcher that he was supposed to pitch, he's out for. And they don't have, and you can't replace me. So you're going to have to go into your bullpen, which is like, relief pitchers and closers that are going to have to be like starting, which is going to be pretty big deal for that team because, and one of the first guys that actually got caught was Hector Santiago for the Mariners. And because of this, I mean, Seattle just basically, you might as well just cut their arm off. Now they're going to be hurting for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting stuff there.
Into that for sure. It's been happening. We've seen cheating in baseball, and I mean, one thing too that they've enforced is every time the pitchers come off the mound, the umpires have to give them a check. So they have to literally like loosen their jerseys. They have to stick their pockets out. They have to basically it's kind of like going through a security check. You know what I'm saying? You have to take stuff out of your pockets. They have to you know what I'm saying? Just tap you down. It's kind of weird. But, I mean, it's different, and some pitchers don't like it, and I can understand why some people don't like that. It's kind of interesting, though, and I think it's good, though, for baseball because this cheating stuff's been going on for years, and we've seen a lot of pitchers that have been cheating for a couple years, the last couple years, that now, since they can't cheat, they're not doing good. Their ERA is really high.
And, just to bring this in real quick, guys, because I'm sure that a lot of people don't understand this, the MLB said that they were going to enforce this new rule in the offseason. But since it's in the mid-season now, pitchers are going to have to adjust, and which means a lot of pitchers are going to get hurt. And a great example is Tyler Glasnow. And he might even need Tommy John surgery, which is like on the arm. If you don't know, that's very scary. I mean, your whole arm can go bad because of that. And so, you also get some pretty funny things when, these pitchers are getting checked. Like, for example, Max Scherzer practically almost acting like he was going to strip down his pants.
Today was the first day MLB said we will be checking pitchers to make sure they don't have sticky stuff anywhere on their person, and Max Scherzer gets his first check after the first inning, and he is excited about it. What do you want? Take a look. I don't care. Go ahead. Check what you need to. Okay, give me my damn glove. Bye. His spin rate was down a lot, meaning he wasn't using something that he had previously used. After the third inning, they're going to check him again. He's walking off. He says, what? Oh, okay, here you go. Take a look. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I like being able to hide my bald spot, and now I can't do it anymore, but go ahead. Check away. Have at it. Bye. So 2 checks. He thinks he's out of the woods, but then in the 4th inning, he starts touching his hat. Joe Girardi, opposing manager, licks his fingers. Not going to lick your fingers if you got gross stuff on there. He gets the strikeout. Joe Girardi talks to the umpires and says, hey, that dude's rubbing his head through his hair, and I don't like it. Joe Girardi later went on to say, I've never seen Max Scherzer rub his hair like that, so we had to check. I didn't mean to offend him. That was his quote after the game. So the umps get together, and they're like, let's check his hair. And he's like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, come on, again? And Girardi's like, this is serious business. And Scherzer's like, are you serious? Really? You checked me twice already? Okay, here you go. Here's my hat. Here's my belt. Here's my pants. I'm like, come on, stop. Save that for later. He just wants us to touch your head a little bit. And Scherzer just tells him, I got nothing. He's like, what do you want? Here, I got nothing. I got nothing. Go ahead. I want to touch my hair. Okay. Touch. That's so creepy. These umps have to just rub up sweaty, thinning hair. It's gross. This is good.
Also, I forget his name, but he's for the Athletics. He did the exact same thing, but he actually did it.
Take a look here with Sergio Romo. was dealing with it, and he was a little bit heated there after the performances. He's immediately thrown off the belt, the glove, the hat, everything.
He actually pulled down the pants. And, it's pretty funny, but, it's just getting to a point where it's ridiculous. And then another controversial part of that is the Astros that were cheating. Now, the Astros kind of got like a slap on the wrist. And because of that, pitchers are very mad that now, well, we're going to get more than just a slap on the wrist for cheating when they just did a huge cheating scandal. And they got caught for it and nothing happened. And so people are pretty upset for that. A lot of the players in the MLB are, so it's a big thing. How about you, Mike? What do you feel on this situation?
Well, I agree with what the league is doing with trying to reduce the cheating. Like Christian said, this has been going on for years now. And I think that it's great that they're trying to finally crack down on it. But I do agree with the pitchers where they're like, well, we're getting a worse suspension than what the Astros got, and they basically robbed the Dodgers of a World Series.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, the Astros basically cheated. Like, we all know this. And they just got their draft picks stripped away. They should have gotten the World Series stripped away. They should have had Altuve, Bregman, whatever. They should have had all of them suspended, and they should have gotten heavily punished, not just have their draft picks traded away. Like, draft picks, sure, that hurts, but that's not as bad as losing your World Series.
Like, that's facts because, like, as a Dodgers fan, they're my second favorite MLB team behind the Braves, and then Cardinals for my third. I was pretty mad. I was furious, losing the World Series, it's pretty sad. But, like, once you hear that the other team is cheating, but they didn't get punished for it as severely as they should have, made me even more mad about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it hurt me.
It's crazy because, like, the draft picks, right, in MLB, they have 20-something rounds. It's not like the NBA where there's 2 rounds and you get 2 draft picks. In MLB, you get like 30-some draft picks.
Exactly.
And the Astros, they should have had that title taken away. And they about won against Washington, your team, Mike, a couple years ago after that. But, I mean, it's crazy, man, because there's also them when they went up against the Yankees. There's a lot of rumors about them cheating even during that series as well. And these guys, like, I mean, I like George Springer. I really did. I don't dislike him, even though he was part of that team. But some of the other players I definitely lost respect for or just didn't like him more because of what they did. They should have. You made a great point. They should have had much more severe punishment.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up 2 points. First off, Christian, like what you just mentioned, my Nats beat them in 7 games without cheating. They beat them based off pure skill thanks to Juan Soto, Howie Kendrick, and Anthony Rendon. And secondly, I forget to mention about the pitchers, like, having to strip down. I feel like that they should have, like, when they're in the bullpen or before the game, I feel like that they should check them there, not they throw one pitch, hey, we got to check you. Just check them before the game.
The bad thing, though, is that now the managers can practically just say, hey, check that pitcher. And, like, a great example was Max Scherzer. He got checked 3 times in that game because the manager told them to.
Yeah, Max was pissed.
Which is ridiculous. They need a limit. I think you should have 2, and that needs to be spread out because that is absolutely ridiculous. It is unfair to the pitcher. It's very annoying. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And for those who don't know, the way the Astros cheated was using trash cans. They were banging the trash cans, and that was like basically giving them the signal of what pitch was coming. So, I mean, and that's a pretty big advantage, really. I mean, because, if you think it's a curveball, well, it's going to go low. So, either whether, you kind of know where it's going, or maybe it's a fastball. Well, then there you go. Now they know what ball is coming. They just don't know where it's coming at. But still, they have a big old advantage.
And for those
think about this, too. In that World Series against the Dodgers, the Astros and Dodgers put up record offensive numbers. So the fact that the Astros were cheating, they were able to score over 10 runs a game for 3 games during that World Series. And the Dodgers did it without cheating. The Dodgers would have beat them in 4 games.
Agreed. And for those of you who don't know, every World Series team or most World Series team gets a whole DVD about like how they won the World Series. And the Astros had theirs, and you could clearly hear the trash cans banging in the background.
This ball's crushed to left. And an error by Lance McCullers Jr. That's how the 2 runs are scored. Marisnik to left field. He will give the Astros their first lead of the night. In the air to left center field. Well hit. That ball's down into the wall. Beltran around second, heading to third. He is being waved home. The relay throw is not in time. Tie game. Triple.
I put a clip of that up while I'm editing. So yeah, I mean, just it's stupid. I agree with the pitchers there, and I believe that it might lead to a big strike, but I don't know. That doesn't look likely right now, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I hope the league does not go into a big strike.
Yep.
So anyway,
Which-
let's. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You go.
So now
Oh,
it's,
one thing I'm gonna sorry for interrupting. I screwed that up, but I don't know. Well, one thing too, since we're recording on a Sunday, today was also the first day of the first time that a player got caught during this new, you know what I'm saying, them checking the pitchers when they come off the mound. Is the first person got caught today, and it was Seattle Mariners pitcher Hector Santiago. He got caught using a foreign substance, which I don't know which one he used, but they caught it on his glove. Just thought I should add that in.
Well, the issue with that, just real quickly, I'm just going to sum this up and we're going to move on to the next thing, is that they've actually made concoctions, which is like they're using all types of stuff to make one super sticky thing that not only do they get a good grip on, but also makes their spin rate higher. And Trevor Bauer, which was a Dodgers pitcher, he used to be on the Reds, you know, which I'm happy he was because he was a Cy Young winner.
Yeah.
Even came out on Twitter years ago and was saying exactly what to put for, you know, the sticky substance that makes you just look like an all-star when it comes to pitching. And, you know, NASCAR really didn't even crack down on much. I mean, I'm happy they're doing something, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's a better way to do it. I realize.
yeah, definitely. So now let's get into a sport that we all like, the NBA, aka basketball, as many of you guys know. We're down to the Final Four in each conference. Well, 2 in each conference, but Final Four in general in the league. We got the Phoenix Suns right now, who are leading the series against the LA Clippers 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals, and the Atlanta Hawks, who are tied 1-1 against the Milwaukee Bucks, and they are currently playing right now, and I believe Atlanta is winning.
Yes.
So, what do you guys think of the playoffs so far?
I'm actually, you know, I feel like this is one of those times when no one's upset with whoever wins. Because, you know, not sounding like a hater here, but, you know, it gets pretty tiring just seeing LeBron and Stephen Curry always up there in the playoffs, man. I'm just happy it's different teams that, like, you know, actually have a shot. And I think, like, I can't remember how long it's been since, like, you know, the Clippers have been to one, the Bucks haven't been to one in, like, since, like, 1970 something. They had Kareem, so it's a big thing, you know, and I won't be upset with whatever team wins, you know. And yeah. How about you, Christian?
this NBA playoffs has probably been the most surprising, I think, that I've seen. Going into it, everyone's thinking Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Lakers are going to get in there. People are saying that Miami could possibly go back to the finals, which I honestly didn't think that was going to happen. There's people saying like 76ers could go there, which I thought 76ers would have a chance, but they end up losing, unfortunately, to the Hawks. Nets was another one too, the loaded big three, I should say. And they didn't make it. The Bucks beat them, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Bucks are going to choke." They didn't. And right now at halftime, it's the Bucks and Hawks are tied at 56 at half in Game 3.
Oh.
But so far, this playoffs has been pretty entertaining. And Cam, you brought up a great point by saying that no one's going to be pretty much upset about whoever wins this year, because it's teams that have hardly been in there, but if not maybe once or twice. The Bucks have been there, but that's back in the 70s. The Hawks, I don't think they've ever been in the finals. Same thing with the Suns. Well, actually, Suns did in 70s as well. And then the Clippers, for many years, they couldn't make it to the Western Conference Finals. They kept choking. And then the Clippers out of nowhere, even without Kawhi Leonard, are in the Western Conference Finals with a chance. But even though they're down 3-1 right now, things aren't looking too good for them. The Suns have been a huge surprise, and Devin Booker and Chris Paul have definitely, gained a lot of fans this year. I to be honest with you, there has been a good bit of bandwagon fans this year, but I'm not going to go into that because, I could spit some facts out about that because I've looked it up. But yeah, it's crazy. This NBA playoffs has been pretty entertaining so far and pretty fun, man. I have no complaints other than, I'm sad that 76ers couldn't make it in the Hornets. They played terrible in the play-in, but other than that, man, it's pretty good.
Well, yeah, I got to agree with you guys. This is probably one of the most entertaining playoff years that I've watched in a while. And, I know that this has nothing to do with basketball, but I just want to point out something that I really like in hockey and baseball is that different teams make it each year, except for in hockey this season. But besides that, different teams always have a shot at winning. You don't always see Ovechkin in hockey and Trout in baseball. Voice crack there. But yeah, you always see LeBron and Stephen Curry every year in the finals, and this year it's going to be different. So I feel like that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
One thing that was on the slate for what we're going to talk about tonight is the soft NBA refs. Now, this is something that's been going on for the last couple of years, and personally, since I know a lot about basketball, I feel like if it's time to go, I could kind of talk more about this. The NBA refs, definitely not what they used to be. There's been a lot of controversies in recent years regarding rig games, which did happen back in the early 2000s as well, which the huge scandal about. But the refs nowadays, man, I'm telling you, they be giving out technical fouls for the stupidest reasons. Devin Booker throwing the ball to the ref.
That they shut him down for a week, and the Lakers lost all 4 games. Schroeder missed. Of course, Davis was out as well. LeBron again on the attack, again going after DeAndre Ayton. And Jimmy, looks like the Lakers have it by design to get Ayton into foul trouble here.
Well, this is the example of a veteran team. You got 2 technicals, okay? Players upset, coaches upset. So what do? You attack right back off the dribble and put the onus on the officials now to call fouls in your favor. Young team may settle for jump shots, but you saw Schroeder pick up a foul going to the basket. Now LeBron James does the same team, kind of indicating to the officials, you got to make some of these calls for us now.
And Devin Booker just got hit with a tee.
See?
Swing moment in this game. On him, and I think Monty Williams still
some changes.
Yeah.
I definitely think that it's a little stupid to me that I don't think that it's the players running the game, it's the refs. And the refs are doing a horrible job at this. From bad calls all the way to, just like what he said with Paul George. Paul George just chest bumped him on accident. I don't even think it was really on purpose. And they called it a foul, which is like so ridiculous and stupid. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, can you not pass the ball to the ref no more? What I got to do? Leave it on the floor for you and you come pick it up? Are you going to call that a foul too? It's so stupid.
Right. Like I said, I'm a huge Wizards fan at the top of the show, and there was a big play where Bradley Beal, he got in for a layup and he got an and-one, and he was right by the Wizards bench, and he was hyping the team up like, yeah, come on. And he did it like right in front of the ref, and the ref thought that he was like taunting, so he gave him a technical foul, but he wasn't doing it at the ref. He was just trying to hype the team up. So that's a stupid technical foul. I know Luka's gotten stupid technical fouls that were like just, like wondering where a foul was or something like that. It's stupid. I hate seeing these refs just be so soft and whiny because a player is like, yeah, let's go. That's basketball. Basketball is one of the most intense sports, and they're gonna get hyped up. These guys are gonna get hyped up, and they gotta expect that. If they're saying like, yeah, F you ref or eat S, B or whatever. I don't know. I'm trying not to cuss, but yeah. So
oh my goodness.
It's just stupid because it's like, really, it's a ball. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what happens a lot of times. I can't remember what player it was. I remember they went in for like a high five to the ref, and because he had the hand up like that, the ref called it a technical foul, and he actually had to go leave the game. Like,
we've seen Boban Marjanovic. If I pronounced his name wrong, I sincerely apologize. But we saw him trying to just break a guy's fall because he's just such a nice guy like that, and he got a technical foul for that.
5. Our first pairing, by the way, it's going to be memorable, Jimmy.
Oh, yes, it will.
With a big-time stuff.
We'll also remember, I think the playoffs this year are going to be something special. And Poole, all right, hits the ground.
Yep.
And I always say that wood don't give, man. Try to stay off the ground as much as you can, but he didn't have a choice with that. But Boban, okay, didn't have to jump too high. Tippy-toe dunk. And then right here, this is all just weight. Clubbed him across the top.
He did.
Previous fouls under review for
they gotta look at it.
Flagrant foul.
And even if you're a nice guy and you check on the player, they're still going to check to see if it's
like, really, if you want to talk about like technical fouls, let's talk about someone like LeBron James
who
fell over Chris Paul
and take back control of this game. James missing again at the foul line. A whistle. James goes down hard to the court. Caruso and Payne get into it. Montrezl Harrell runs into Campaign, and coaches leave the bench area as things become a little bit contentious here.
Well, it started with Chris Paul blocking out LeBron James when James was up in the air on the missed free throw. And then it was Caruso and Campaign involved in a separate issue.
LeBron's is shaken up. He's down on one knee on the court.
He landed hard. He got undercut.
He's holding that left shoulder. That's another look at it. And there's Harrell that came in late on Payne.
Trying to box out with Paul, which I don't know why Paul was trying to box out with LeBron, but whatever. It just he looked like he threw him over his shoulder. Chris Paul is like 6 foot, and LeBron James is
an accident. I don't even think it was really on purpose. And they called it a foul, which is like so ridiculous and stupid. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, can you not pass the ball to the ref no more? What I got to do? Leave it on the floor for you and you come pick it up? Are you going to call that a foul too? It's so stupid.
Right.
I'm like, okay, now you're just being ridiculous, right? Like,
exactly.
At some point you really got to stop and think, am I just overacting and being a crybaby? Maybe. You just got to think about that.
James Harden, he's good at drawing fouls too. Like he's just so good at doing that.
Yeah, one thing I want to add, speaking of James Harden, is the league is finally cracking down on like how some players like they take threes, but they fall over on purpose so they get a foul, or they try to lean in and they get a foul. They're finally starting to crack down on that. And that was one of the things that was like getting on my nerves watching basketball. Like Trae Young and James Harden were two of the biggest offenders of this. Every play that they get, they always try to take a three and then they lean right into the defender. Now, sometimes the defender is in the wrong and they do get the foul call. But then there's times like with James Harden where he's just like, ooh, and then he tries to lean in and fall over, and then he makes the shot. But then, hold on 1 second. Chris Middleton did the same thing to him, and James Harden was like, why did you do that? Like, he just had this look on his face. I'm like, come on, James. You do this every game, man.
That's so accurate.
I guess, like, one reason that's making Trae Young hated as much as he is, like, I mean, yes, he's a very good basketball player. You know, he's proven it. But players are not liking him because when he shoots, sometimes, like, he'll throw himself into the defender to get a foul.
Like Curry.
Which is really annoying. And I mean, like, he's done it, like, right in front of the ref's faces and nothing's happened. If anything, they've actually thrown fouls on the defender, which I think is so stupid. And I think that it really is like a cheap shot. You know what I mean? It's really annoying.
Yeah, I get that for sure. Like, I mean, just going on a little bit about Trae Young. This guy, man, he's had a great class and everything, but he reminds me a lot of Curry right now for some reason, just chunking up threes, just chunking them up, just shooting threes all the time. And you know, the Hawks, they're a really good 3-point shooting team. They have Kevin Huerter, they have Cam Reddish. There's just all sorts of guys like Danilo Gallinari can hit threes, Bogdanovich can hit threes. And honestly, the big men, John Collins and Clay Capella, have not done well at all this playoffs. It's been the guards that have for the Hawks, and they're the reasons why they're still in the playoffs right now. Is because they just keep hitting a billion threes.
Right. And I feel like that the threes, and I mean Collins and Capella, they can give you solid minutes. They can give you blocks, and they got a very solid core all around. And that Nate McMillan, they fired their old coach. I forgot who it was, but Nate McMillan turned the team around so much. And so much to the point that they could actually be a contender to win the finals. So I don't know, man. I don't think they will, but they got a bright future ahead of them. I mean, they got a real team, if you will. Like they can block shots, they can go in the paint, they can shoot threes. The Atlanta Hawks are a good team, and I would not mind seeing them win a championship because that's deserving.
When I was doing my predictions at the beginning of the season, I was like, I think the Hawks will possibly get an 8th seed. I didn't think they were going to be like as high as they were. And, you know, start the season, they were terrible. And that's the reason why they fired their coach. They were like 12 and like 25 or 6 or something. And they ended up coming all the way back to like a 4th seed, if I'm correct. It's crazy, man. Like they just had such a huge turnaround. It's pretty incredible, to be honest with you. And, you know, being a 76ers fan, I was pretty shocked that they would beat us. I was pretty upset about that because I feel like we could have won. But that's for another topic. But anyways, on to you, Cam.
To get into something new, we have for soccer is Cristiano Ronaldo ties Ollie Dye's men's international goal record of 109.
Oh wow,
so,
he did.
You know, that's pretty big. I mean, you know, that's big news. So, especially inside the soccer world, people are going crazy over it. So, you know, good for Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, to get into a little bit of soccer here, I definitely think he's one of the best players in soccer that, you know, not only that I've ever watched, but that overall and just in general, like he will definitely leave his mark in soccer. What do you think about it, Christian?
Well, I was going to talk about the Clippers and Suns. But I mean, we could talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, to be honest with you, man, I think he's better than Messi. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's better athletically. Have you seen this guy jump? He could jump like just as tall as like some of these basketball players. He's high off the ground. He has such great leg strength and stamina. He's very fast. And, you know, Ronaldo's not always great. He's not always a nice person, you know, on the field, off the field. Sometimes he's had some issues with the media and some other players and all that. But sometimes he has had some kind of things. He's extremely rich, too. It's crazy how much some of these soccer stars get paid. It's just like, bro, save us some money, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, I mean, he's such a polarizing like person, you know what I'm saying? And one thing too, if y'all don't know, he's the athlete with the most Instagram followers in the world, and I think it's over like 200 million or something like that. I may be wrong, but yeah, it's crazy. This guy is just. I knew he was going to tie it, maybe even pass it eventually. I would think Messi probably would before him because he's like been in soccer longer. But yeah, man, what about you, Mike?
Well, I don't know crap about soccer, so apologies there. But that's really cool that Ronaldo got that record. Congratulations to him. I think he'll probably just surpass it even more, and then a new record will be held. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. I guess to get back into the Suns and Clippers, I kind of just skipped past that a little bit. My bad. I guess my thoughts on this, on the series, so far, it's been exciting, Phil. I mean, it's been exciting, really. Like, I'm rooting for the Suns personally. I like them. I think that I would hope they win the series against the Clippers. Now, if the Clippers win, I would not be upset either. I mean, like I said, I just said that earlier. I wouldn't really care which team goes all the way because, I like all these teams. I think, they all deserve it. They all deserve the shot. I think that Ayton has showed a crazy performance alongside with Devin Booker, which I just would like to get into real quick. I definitely think that Devin Booker is still underrated. I'm kind of annoyed a little bit how people are just now realizing how good this dude is. I mean, he's been good. It's just annoying that now, like, just because he's up there with, big time guys, they're just now saying how good he is. And I hate to call him out, but Stephen A. Smith is a great example.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're back. The recording cut out. So, Cam, you were saying?
I was just saying how, like, people. I still think that Devin Booker is underrated. And I think that people are just now joining the train when this dude's been good. It's just now people are acknowledging it because he's up there with the big guys. I mean, a great example of that, and I hate to call him out, but Stephen A. Smith. I mean, it was only a year ago he was dogging on him, and now he's just, so glory, so this, so that. And I'm like, dude, we were just saying he was trash just last year. Like, there's not much that's changed in over a year. Like, he's just getting recognized. It's just annoying. I just wish that guys in the NBA would really start realizing true talent, and, yeah, it just annoys me.
I 100% agree with you, man. Like, Devin Booker a couple years ago, there's a little part of me is like he's kind of soft because he used to complain a lot about getting fouled, and I mean even in pickup games and all that. But I always knew Devin Booker is a really good player, and one top player scorers in the league at the moment. And Booker's averaging like 25 points a game and all that during the regular season. These playoffs, he scored a couple of games where he's had like, triple doubles with 30-some points. It's pretty cool to see. And, he's had a little bit of doubt about that because they both like to handle the ball the most, kind of lead the team up down court. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe there would be a little bit of struggle with that, but they've proved me wrong. And, Chris Paul, he came back after being out with COVID. But it's crazy, man. These Suns have been a surprise. But DeAndre Ayton's been doing well, pretty good as well, as you mentioned earlier. He's been averaging over 10 rebounds per game, 10 points per game. And the Clippers too. Like the Clippers, I actually picked the Clippers to be in the finals this year against the Brooklyn Nets. And I thought Kawhi Leonard would be, he'd be still in it, but right now he's hurt. It's crazy. I didn't think he would get hurt again, but he messed up his knee again. And there's been a little bit of conspiracy about that because there's a couple things talking about he's just like sitting out to spend time with his family, which, it could be a little bit understandable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just had a child that was born like a couple weeks ago. But, Paul George, he's really stepped up as well. Last year, he had a rough postseason. A lot of haters going after him, everything. This regular season, this playoffs, he shut them up. He's been averaging 25, 26 points per game in regular season and playoffs. He's had multiple 30 points games. He's almost averaged a triple-double even this postseason in a couple of the series they were in. He's had a career high in assists. He's averaging like about 7 rebounds per game as well. So Paul George, man, he ain't pandemic P anymore. He's playoff P. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing really well, and I don't get why people hate this guy so much. I just thought I should add that in there. And one thing I just want to point out as well, for Game 5, they're playing tomorrow night, which they're recording again is Sunday. They're playing Monday night, and they have the Suns win. There's a 52% chance of the Suns winning, and the betting line is about margin of 5 points. So that's what I have to say about the Suns and Clippers series.
I would say that this has been a very good series. The Clippers have had bad games. The Suns had a really bad game when they lost, but they bounced back really well last game. I think the Suns are going to win the series. And I'm sorry for not giving my prediction with the Hawks and Bucks series, which that's also a really good series so far right now. Obviously, it's tied, and the game is going on right now, and I'm currently watching it while I'm recording. I think that it could go either way. I don't have a full prediction on the Hawks and Bucks series, but for the Suns, I think the Suns are going to win in 5, maybe 6, but my prediction is 5. I mean, Devin Booker, we knew he was good. Devin Booker was an underrated player, and he still is an underrated player. You got CP3. I mean, a lot of people were doubting him because of how he was playing. I mean, in Houston, he almost won a championship, almost made it to the finals, I think. And then in OKC, I mean, it's OKC. What do you expect? But, I feel like Phoenix was definitely a good spot for him, with Booker improving a ton. And then you got Monty Williams as their coach right now. He's doing a sensational job right now. So, yeah, I could see the Suns winning it all, especially now that Brooklyn's out of it. And Brooklyn was my original pick. But with Brooklyn gone, I think the Suns could win the championship.
2 more things I just want to add in real quick. Cam Johnson, former Tar Heel, he's been playing really well. He's been hitting a lot of threes. Monty Williams, he's one of my favorite coaches in the league. He's such a great person. If you haven't looked up his story, just read up on that. And Terrence Mann, I want to add one more thing. Terrence Mann, people have been saying he's been carrying the Clippers in this series when he did have like a really good game a while back. He had like 39 points, and people were like, oh, he carrying them. Like, honestly, to be honest with you, he did have a couple good games. Like, he's played a little bit better, but he ain't that. You know what I mean? You ain't that guy. That's what I'm thinking about Terrence Mann right now. He's averaging 7 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and 1 assist per game. I mean, I just don't get why people are saying that he's been like the second best player on the team when Zubac has.
You know who's really another great player on the Clippers? Like, don't get me wrong, Terrence Mann, I think he's a great player. I think he's a future star. But you know who else is really helping the Clippers? Reggie Jackson. That dude is always shooting the ball, and he's making it in. He's clutch, and he's proving why he should be a starting point guard.
Yeah.
I
have a little blooper from the Clippers game, which is funny. Is Paul George made a shot, a mid-range shot, and Mike Breen, if you don't know, he's like a commentator that was on the game.
Yeah.
They showed a camera of Kawhi, and Kawhi is just like sitting there, looking like Kawhi, which is like depressed, of course, for no reason. And he's like, Kawhi with a big celebration. He's just
Zubac, the lead is cut, and this building has come alive. The lead is cut to 6. Kawhi Leonard going crazy.
like sitting there, just like
I
the
saw that. I was dying laughing, man.
It was funny.
Kawhi, man, he's so awesome.
Man, it was funny because, oh boy, after he showed that laugh, man, it just came a meme. Poor Kawhi, I feel bad for him.
A fun guy for sure.
Very.
I mean, come on, I'm a fun guy. All right.
I like Kawhi Leonard. He's one of my favorite players in the league. He's just not one of those guys that likes to show off and, just speak hockey and all that. He's just he works so hard. And I mean, I think he's like one of the best players in the league, like top 5 easily if he's not hurt.
Facts. Big facts
Yeah.
right there. So now let's take a look at some NFL news. We got a big trade going on with Julio Jones. He went over to the Titans. What do you guys think of it?
I think it's very stupid, and here's why. I'm going to go into this, right?
Oh.
Now, we know Titans are very run-heavy. I mean, they got Derrick Henry. I mean, I forget what the percentage was last year, but, like, the percentage of running between passing was so much bigger than it was for, passing, and it was just insane. And, like, I just think that it's stupid to get someone like that. Like, why wouldn't you guys get, like, maybe, like, a offensive linebacker? Like get some blockers in there for Derek. Because if anything, that's like your guys' main issue is that, you guys' blockers suck. And, with having Julio Jones, I don't think he's going to be a waste. But I think that you guys could have done a lot better. And I think he could have had much more use at a different team. So, I mean, it's a little annoying, but oh well. What do you think, Christian?
To be honest with you, I don't even know who the Titans quarterback is, which is pretty bad.
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
Tannehill. Okay, I thought he got cut, but yeah, Tannehill. The thing is, right, Julio Jones, his numbers were down the last couple of years with Atlanta, and I knew he was going to be gone out of there eventually. It's just a matter of like when. And going to the Titans, I think that's a pickup. Like it's pretty good, but at the same time, if you want to have a really good pass and run, you got to sign other people other than Julio at the wide receiver position. But, the thing is with Julio, too, you have to think about, will he be able to, like, do well with the other wide receivers getting touches? Like, because we know he was a little frustrated about not getting enough catches and, targets in Atlanta the past couple of years. I was hoping that my Eagles would recruit Jones, but it is what it is. Who did the Falcons get for in the trade?
They got some picks, I think. I have to go.
Yeah, they got draft picks. They got draft picks.
Yeah.
To talk about like another trade that like hurt my soul was when AJ Green left us. Which I mean, I knew it was only a time for AJ Green for the Bengals. Which I have a couple of teams that I like. I like the Raiders and the Bengals, but my main team is Minnesota Vikings. And so to see AJ Green go was really upsetting. It kind of hurt my soul a little bit, but it's all right. It's all right. I'll just cry in the dark somewhere.
For those who don't know, my favorite NFL teams, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, but my favorite NFL teams are like the Panthers and the Steelers, the Eagles, and Seahawks. So those are my favorite NFL teams.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Go Philly, man.
Die,
something kind of off topic. Something kind of off topic, but that has to do with football. Something kind of off topic.
I don't even have a team name.
Is that so
that's more Super Bowl.
If you don't know, my dad and my stepdad have different teams, but they're rivalry teams, right? And like my stepdad, my dad's always kind of had a conflict, So my dad's a Michigan fan, and my stepdad's an Ohio State fan, and you know how that goes. That's pretty big. So being that, I like both teams. I like both of those teams. That's why I'm never upset whoever wins. Which right now Ohio State's just been killing them every year, but Michigan will get back at some point because Michigan used to be Ohio State.
Yeah,
and
then I got it.
So then I was like, well, crap. Now I got to pick something. So I was like, you know what? Who has nice jerseys? And immediately just came to my mind, Oregon. The Oregon Ducks do. They always have clean
Oregon.
outfits.
Yeah.
So that's how I did go with. But sorry, kind of off topic, but I did want to share that because I thought it would be a good story.
It's cool.
I agree that the Julio Jones trade was kind of shocking. Like I knew he was going to get out of Atlanta fairly soon, but I thought he was going to go to the Colts. I mean, they were already developing their receiving core. They got T.Y. Hilton. He's a veteran. They got this guy. He's not really well known, but Michael Pittman Jr. He's a solid wide receiver. So they're getting their core developed. I feel like the Colts would have been a better place for him to go. But with the Titans, I guess they're trying to improve their receiving core because they got, I think, A.J. Brown. I get both A.J. Brown and A.J. Green confused, but the guy A.J. Brown, I guess they're trying to give more like options for Tannehill to throw to when they don't have throwing plays because their offense is heavily reliant on running because Henry is probably the best running back in the league right now. So
and I guess like I have two other teams, right? And yes, I am a Raiders fan, but like not even like biased. I think it would have been a great pickup by the Raiders to get Julio Jones. They have Derek Carr.
Right.
And I still think he's a little underrated for who he is. And I feel like he doesn't, but I definitely think that like that would have been a good pick. But also going to the Chargers, they got a young, QB, and nothing's better than a good wide receiver that will give you looks, and that's what matters. And I just think that Tannehill does not have it, and I just think that plus like they're more of like a run game. They're not really more of like known for their passing. They're more known for the running, which I think they've gotten this far. So let's just stick to it. You know what I mean? Like just stick to it. If anything, just build up the offense a little bit with like blocking. But I just kind of think it was a little bit of waste when there's a lot of teams that could have had him. You know what I mean? And that really needed him.
I agree.
And I just feel like this one was just
One thing I just want to add real quick. I think that Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones, if they were on the same team, the league would be in trouble.
That would be scary.
As a Vikings fan, I'm just happy I don't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers no more. Thank God.
They haven't said if he's leaving or not, but there's of course rumors that he's going to Denver.
He was on a podcast thing, right? Well, it was like a Zoom call for like a meeting with like Tom Brady and a couple others, and I forget what it said on the shirt, but it was something about like "help me" with like the Packers logo.
Oh man,
it was something like that. Basically, just saying like "sign me" or something. It was just so funny.
Wow,
I cracked up.
But Rodgers did have a good reason to leave the Packers. I mean, they have not helped him at all the last couple of years, especially with their draft picks. And their offense has just been going down the drain. So, I mean, I understand why he would leave Green Bay.
I understand why, too. It's similar to basketball with Damian Lillard wanting to leave the Trailblazers. Rodgers can still be a good quarterback. He's in conversation for MVP almost every year. And he can lead a team to a Super Bowl, but the Packers they get to like the NFC final and then they choke. And part of that is on Rodgers and part of that is with everybody else, but he can still lead a team to be a good team, I feel like.
Right.
And Denver, I don't want him to go to Denver. Like I can understand why he'd want to go to Denver, but I don't think he should go to Denver.
Same.
Why would you go from Green Bay? They're a great team every year. They got Jamal Adams. They got some wide receiver. I forget his name.
Adams.
Yeah, but they got a lot of good players, and they're a playoff contender every year. And then you're gonna go to Denver, and what are you gonna do there? Who's in Denver? Von Miller?
Yeah, but I guess I could see why he could go to Denver because there are some wide receivers. Okay, you got Earl Thomas. Can't think of the other one, but
Earl Thomas.
I can see why he could go to Denver.
Jerry Jeudy, he played in Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I definitely think that it's gonna be interesting because he's gonna go somewhere. Honestly, at this point, I'm pretty sure he's just practically admitted it. It's like he just doesn't. The Packers just don't want him to say anything. I'm sure they just probably want to keep it on the down low, so they don't get emails every 5 minutes from different teams just begging them, "Hey, we want Aaron." But I definitely think that the Packers should take this to their advantage. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is getting old too. I mean, you got to realize, they should use this to their advantage while they can. I mean, really, this would be a smart decision. Because you kind of have a little bit of a rebuild.
One thing I wanted to point out. Aaron Rodgers has been playing football for so long that when he was getting drafted in NFL, I was 5 or 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm 20 now. So, I mean, it's crazy how long he's been in the sport. It's crazy.
Yeah, but Brady's
Tom
even
Brady,
crazier.
they'll never retire.
Yeah. To get into some other news of football, the Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark was arrested and charged last Sunday for a gun found in his Lamborghini SUV. He was released Monday afternoon and was charged $35,000. That's pretty big, which you're going to notice a little bit of a trend here with some of this news. A lot of these guys kind of got in trouble. All right. There's been a couple of things with the, guys getting in trouble, which is a little scary, because it's building up a bad reputation for NFL. So we can see where this could go later on. I just hope none of this keeps happening.
Yeah, it's just players making stupid decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen this happen in the past with other athletes, them getting caught with drugs, for example, in the back of their cars, just doing stupid things, and it could cost them their career. But for some stars, they get away with it. It's crazy. There's some people that literally get away with it. They're like, oh, like, for example, Malik Beasley. Like, I mean, yeah, he's going to go to jail, but he should be in jail for longer than he is going to be going to jail for doing all the stuff he did, which was including assault and, illegal marijuana charges and just gun charges, all sorts of stuff, man. It's like, it's just crazy. Some of these athletes think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it.
And, a great example of drugs getting found in your car, right, which is like kind of topic, Caruso on the Lakers, he got in trouble with marijuana. And,
I would not expect him to do that.
I know, right? Caruso just
well, then again, though, I mean, would you expect
dude.
that guy? Would you expect that guy that's balding to be able to dunk over somebody? I wouldn't
No.
So the fact that he's full of surprises, man.
I think Kuzma gave him the weed, to be honest with you. He had to have, because Kuzma has been acting like he's been on some sort of drug the entire playoffs this year. He's trash.
So another thing in the football news, Viking rookie defensive tackle Jalen, I'm not gonna get this name right, Twyman, was shot 4 times in his car while visiting his aunt in Washington, D.C. He is currently in the hospital and can make a full recovery.
Well, I'm glad he's going to make full recovery. That's crazy, man. Like, I actually didn't know about that. Man, getting shot 4 times, like,
that's
just
insane.
A dog?
Yeah, I mean, that's insane because, like, I don't mean to sound like selfish. I mean, obviously, prayers up to him, but I was at a Nats game the same day that he got shot. Like, that in the same place. That's crazy.
Well, what's kind of weird though, right? It's like I think about is like it's sad to say, but at this very moment, someone's probably getting killed.
Exactly.
As we're talking, which is like crazy to say, but I mean, there's so much people in this world. It's like the chances of that's pretty high.
Exactly.
Now this one is like very big. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably heard about this. It's big time news. The Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib, or how you say his name, becomes the first active NFL player to come out as gay. He was several former and current NFL players. They show their report to support to him. I guess some examples would be Saquon Barkley, Max Crosby, and Julian Edelman, and multiple more. I mean, millions more. There's just big time sports athletes. I'm pretty sure LeBron James even had to say something on it. It's worldwide news. It's pretty big. What's your opinion on it, Christian?
I honestly don't know if I should comment or not about it. You kind of laid it out there. But of course LeBron had to say something about it. But anyways, yeah, like, it doesn't surprise me because we've seen the trend of people coming out, I guess you'd say, in sports over the past couple of years. But, I don't really want to talk about that, to be honest with you. But, I mean, it's part of the show, so we have to talk about this. It's news.
I mean, good for him. I mean, it's good for him. I guess, I'm happy that he came out, for that. I mean, like, I'm sure that's probably, I mean, you got to think if you're holding a secret, it's like a secret. Everybody wants to tell the secret at some point just to get it off their chest. So I'm sure it's probably leaving for him to get it off. It was pretty big news. And, I mean, you have anything on it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gay. I don't really have an opinion on it, but just, congratulations, good for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he was able to feel comfortable about it. And I wish him the best of luck in his career.
Yep. And then,
I don't wish any ill will to him. I hope he does well in his career and all that. Just with me, to be honest with you, man, like, sports podcasts, I'm not going to talk about politics or about, certain stuff like world issues in the podcast. So I'm not going to comment about it.
You're good. No, you're fine. It was just more like something that was big news, and that was, something that, I was just more like, oh, congrats,
I just straight up
it was
don't
more
know
like a
what to say
supportive
about
thing
it.
in a way, it was just a 50-50 thing.
It is news, though.
Yep. And then coming in last for this news, we have Eli Manning, who is rejoining the Giants organization. His responsibilities will be business operations and fan engagement initiatives. He will also be inducted to the Giants Ring of Honor on September 26th. I guess to give my opinion on this, good for him. I mean, I like Eli Manning. I always did. I will say, though, I never liked playing with him in Madden games. Just not my type of quarterback to play with. but I definitely think that he was a great quarterback. Left a legacy for sure, and I'm happy to see him kind of make his little own part into the team. It's pretty nice, kind of showing back his respect back to the Giants. What do you think?
Eli Manning, he was really good for a while until like past couple of years. So I mean, it didn't surprise me that he would retire or whatever. Daniel Jones, I know some people are like, oh, he's gonna be good and all that. I don't say that, but I mean that's just the way it is. Eli Manning taking a spot in the Giants organization does not surprise me at all. We've seen this happen with, all sorts of different sports players that played for a certain team. They'd end up, becoming a part of like the team management. Example, Magic Johnson. He was president of operations for a while. So yeah, I mean, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. This is another thing where like I don't have too much of an opinion on it. So I mean, good for him. I'm glad that he's able to go back to the Giants. But yeah, I mean that's cool. I guess
I would like to ask you guys a question here. To think about is, do you guys think? Because if you guys don't know, Saquon Barkley had that injury. I think was it an ACL tear?
Yeah,
pretty sure. So so having that ACL tear, do you guys think that he's going to be back to, his normal form, or do you think that he's going to go out? Not looking good. I thought, this is kind of a big question that I, kind of wanted to add on to the podcast because, people are already talking about it a little bit, and I kind of thought, man, no one's really talking about it that much, and I was like, shoot, let's bring on the podcast and see what you guys think. Personally, I don't think that he's going to recover his full thing. I mean, you've seen this happen to guys, and it's been bad. I mean, a great example was our Robert Griffin III, RG3. I mean, he had I think the exact same thing. And I mean, look how much he's fallen off, and I hate to say that, but really, if you want to look at a different sport, look at the NBA, Derrick Rose.
Facts.
Look at, and I'm glad that he's still doing good, but he was never back to his final form. And Saquon Barkley was a beast. But now, it's sad to see his career maybe end a little short here. I'm not saying that he's going to end, his career or nothing. I just think that he's not going to be where he was.
I do agree with you with some of those points, Cam. I will say, with Saquon, this injury happened, if I'm correct, in September. So, to be honest with you, he probably will be at training camp. It's still another month away. Most stars tend to sit out some training camp, most of the training camp, if they're injured, the year before. So it wouldn't surprise me if he sat out. But at the same time, he should be healthy. He should be fine. There's always chances of recurring injuries we've seen with football stars. And
yes,
Saquon's a well-known star. He's in Old Spice commercials, I think, or Head & Shoulders, one of them too. I've seen him in commercials. But, I think Barkley, I think he will – I will say that, it wouldn't surprise me if he had another, season-ending injury, this coming year, or maybe 1 or 2 years, which I hope doesn't happen, of course. But, I actually think that he will be, back to his full potential, I think. He will play good again. But, even with him playing good, I still think the Giants are not going to do anything this year, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree that he'll still be a good player, but I just don't know about where he was. I mean, ACL injuries are one of the hardest injuries to come back from. So we'll just have to wait and see how he performs this coming season.
Yep.
Great. So, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we can wrap it up to the top 10.
Well, we also
NHL.
get the playoffs, so I was going to see if we could talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we got the NHL
playoffs. So, you want to do it, Mike?
I have it up. If you want to do it, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say NHL playoffs. Right now, Stanley Cup Finals began this Monday. Game 1 between the Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay won last year. They went up against the Dallas Stars. And I just wanted to start off with saying, congratulations to the Canadiens. They had a great season. I mean, they shocked some people, but I knew they were going to be good. They were 24-21, which is close to 500. Then the playoffs, they absolutely performed well. And, I'm glad they beat the Vegas Golden Knights because I didn't want to see them back in it again. Seems like Tampa Bay and, Vegas have been up in their conference finals the past 3 or 4 years. So it's cool to see Canadians being there. My favorite team, the Hurricanes, they weren't able to advance, unfortunately. Same thing with the Penguins and the Flyers. But it is what it is. I think these NHL playoffs have been pretty exciting. We had a really good series between Tampa Bay and the Islanders, which I wish the Islanders would have won. But it's been a really fun playoffs, and I'm sure it's going to be a packed house on on Monday night in Tampa Bay. So I just wanted to go through a little bit like some starters and injury reports. Nikita Kucherov for Tampa Bay, he's listed as day-to-day. And another one of their stars, Eric Cernak, he is listed day as well. Montreal has 2 stars, and Jake Evans and Thomas Tartar that are in the injury list as well. So I don't think injuries will affect them too much because those players aren't leading them in stats. Like Tyler Tolov, the right wing for the Canadians, he's averaging a lot of assists and goals. If I'm correct, he had 44 points during the regular season. Braden Point, the center for the Tampa Bay Lightning, he's been doing really well. So I think it's going to be a really fun series. I really want the Canadians to win, but I'm going to say, like, prediction-wise, I think Tampa Bay's going to win in 6, but I want to see the Canadians win. What about y'all?
I had the same idea as you. I definitely think that the Canadians are going to put up a fight. But I do have to say that Tampa Bay is going to come out with the dub overall. They've just shown us, constantly. I mean, really, they're like the modern day, Warriors, or, you could say the modern day LeBron with how they are, up there in the finals. So I definitely think they're going to pull away with this once again. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it on the podcast. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I'm going to predict that Tampa Bay wins, but I do want to see Montreal. I don't want to see anybody really go back-to-back, and Montreal has not been in a Stanley Cup for a while, so it would be very interesting to see somebody different. Like I mentioned earlier, I really like that baseball and hockey have different people in their respective finals every year, and it's not just the same stars. But yeah, go Canadians, but I got to go with Tampa winning the series.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 6 or 7. They'll win the series.
I guess if I had to pick one, I think they're going to go, I guess I'll go 6 too. I mean, I almost want to say 7, but no, I'm going to say with 6.
So now let's get into the top 10 plays of the week.
Christian?
Go.
Oh shoot! I thought we were doing some Sports Center real, like you said. Cam, what is it?
Okay, so now we're gonna go into the top 10. Christian.
So at number 10, we got Trae Young breaking through Holiday's ankles and then hitting the 3 after doing a little shimmy. Brought a clip.
But tonight, 10 of 17, 23 points. So how are they going to find an answer for this man right here? Oh, my goodness. All right. Oh, no, he didn't.
With a little shake of his shoulder.
No, he
hits
didn't.
The 3.
No, he didn't. He just shook his shoulders.
Little shuffle.
What? Doing a little bank out bounce right there. Are you kidding me?
Very few fouls have been called in this game. It's been free-flowing. Look at this move. Take your time. Now a little shuffle. And then let's see. Okay, I'll shoot the 3.
Young has the 2-time MVP.
Coming in at number 9, we have Jacob deGrom, who throws 300-mile-per-hour fastballs to Acuna Jr. for the strikeout after being checked for sticky stuff, which he passed.
0.5 today will probably start in Game 2. Ronald Acuna Jr. leads off. Jacob deGrom, 5 days after coming out with shoulder soreness, ready to throw his first pitch. And it's a fastball in for a call strike at 100 miles an hour, and we're underway.
Oh, by the way, Braves, you got to play a double dip 2 days in a row. Now you get deGrom, 100 and shadows.
The 140th pitch that Jake has thrown 100 or better this year. That's 10 times as many as any other starting pitcher in the game. And another one fouled back, and it's 0-2.
And there are the shadows right there. The light stanchion is going to move further out as the game progresses. He's moving out rather quickly. There's Freddie.
Freddie Freeman on deck. Ozzie Albies behind him. DeGrom with a couple of fastballs quickly ahead of Acuna 0-2. And he takes care of him quickly at 101. DeGrom lays down his marker. 3 pitches, 1 strikeout.
The way.
In at number 8 is the #1 top prospect in baseball, Wander Franco, being brought up to the big leagues and his first at-bat home run. Here's a clip.
To the Rays now. And he swings, hits it high and deep and gone! Home run! Franco's first in the big leagues will tie this game.
At number 7 is Miguel Sano's walk-off against the Cincinnati Reds in the longest game of the season so far. It was a 12-inning game, and the score was tied 5-5. The game lasted 5 hours and 14 minutes. So this is how it ended. Roll the clip.
Get himself a hanging breaking ball.
High fly left center field, and Miguel Sano says that's enough.
He got a hanging breaking ball, and he ended it.
A walk-off 2-run home run. And the Twins in 12 prevail. The celebration a bit subdued because of the marathon game, the longest in the big leagues this year.
Coming in at number 6, we have the Yankees. They make their 3rd triple play on the season, which is tied for most in MLB history for triple plays in one season. Here's the clip.
And now 1st and 2nd for the catcher Murphy. Lowry's at 2nd. Kemp is at 1st. Yankees trying to hold on. They lead 2-1 top of the 9th inning. This could be 1, 2, on to 1st. It's a triple play. They've done it again. 3 times a charm, and the Yankees win 2-1. Can you believe it?
Like the most recent one, pretty crazy.
And at number 5 is Cristiano Ronaldo clearing the ball, running to the opposite side of the field with less than 15 seconds and scores the goal for his team. Here's the clip.
At number 4, we got Los Angeles Clippers guard/scorer Terrence Mann scoring a career-high 39 points in a game against the Jazz, and he had a mean dunk of Rudy Gobert on the clip.
Read by Ingles. Clippers up by 4. Low dribble. George draws a crowd. Mann doesn't take the 3. Drives in. Oh, he finishes! Terrence Mann puts it down. Literally a man's chance for LA.
With that triple, the pump fake froze Gobert, and they always tell you if you're gonna go at a shot blocker, you better go hard.
And Gobert called for the foul on the play.
Coming in at number 3, we have Shohei Ohtani hits a home run every day besides the day he pitched, but he made up for that day on Thursday, hitting 2 more. He is currently tied for the first alongside Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Back to the gamer, the bat, see if it could be the key for Shohei Ohtani in this at-bat. I think he needs us right back in it here. Tennessee tie with 1 swing of the bat.
Shohei Ohtani hits a high fly ball to right center field. 23 for Ohtani. We're tied.
And Shohei flying around the bases. We always hear it's all about the shoes. It's all about the bat. For Shohei Ohtani two-run homer just like that. The game is tied at 3. Number 23 of the season for Shohei Ohtani. Unbelievable.
Love that batter's eye in center field because the shrubbery in the front makes it feel like you're playing in your backyard. And how many times when you were a kid were you playing with your buddies and you hit one into the shrubs and it was a homer? Love that shot there to center, just over the wall. A career high in a single season for Ohtani.
Whoa, that's a backup breaker ball. There was no intent behind it.
Is Kevin Durant's historic game against the Bucks in the playoffs, where he averaged a triple-double, 49 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists. Here's a shot.
All right, the Nets looking to inbound. Jeff Green gets it into Durant. Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes! With 1 second remaining. 1 second left. Durant hits a 3. And Milwaukee has 1 timeout. They call for the timeout. What an incredible shot by Kevin Durant. For review.
And at number 1, we got the game-winning alley-oop in the Clippers and Suns game, if I'm correct, game 2, where DeAndre Jordan. I'm so used to Jordan being on the Clippers, but DeAndre Ayton for the Suns had the game-winning alley-oop here to win the game for the Suns. So, roll the clip.
Not an easy inbound with that big body in front of you. Crowder looking, throws it alley-oop. Oh! Ayton puts it down! He puts it down! It's over!
And they're trying to say goaltending, but that's a live basketball. He can finish it.
Right, there is no goaltending on an inbound pass.
Was that the basket counted? What a perfectly executed play. Ayton guides it in beautifully.
What an
And with that, that will complete our first episode of our sports podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys go check out our main channel if y'all like NASCAR. And we will see you guys in the next episode.
If you made it this far, comment Bork. B-O-R-K.
Back show.
See you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace, y'all.